G'day guys, my name's Dave Tran and welcome to another GuitarZero2Hero song tutorial. And in this lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play This Town by Niall Horan. So this is a beautiful finger-picked song. So for the basics, you'll need your guitar in standard tuning and you'll need a capo on the 2nd fret of your guitar. To play this song, you'll need to know 6 chord shapes. Now if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Now in this lesson, I'm going to teach you the studio recorded version of how to play this song. Niall also just released a live video performance where he plays it a tiny bit differently, but it's very close to the studio version. So if you just learn the studio version, you'll be right for both. So just some finger picking rules before we start. The thumb is going to take care of the 6th, 5th and 4th strings, and your index, middle and ring finger will take care of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings respectively. And they will only pick those strings, they won't pick any other strings. Up here in the tabs, above the top line, there will be an indication of what chord you'll need to play. Now if you find the finger picking too hard, then you can just strum these simple chords that are above the tab. So starting with the intro, we have a G chord. But one little tweak we're going to do with this G chord is we're not going to put our ring or pinky finger down, just our index and middle finger. We're going to pluck the bass note, and then we're going to pluck the 2nd and 3rd strings. Now for the rest of the song, I'm going to refer to that as one picking pattern, where we play a bass note and then we pluck some high strings. That will be one picking pattern. So you play that picking pattern 8 times for the G chord, and it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it for the intro, really nice and easy. Now we get to the first verse, and the first verse starts off with that G chord, and we're going to pluck that for 8 picking patterns. And then we go to E minor for 8 picking patterns. And for the E minor, you're plucking the open 6th string and then the 2nd and 3rd strings together for the picking pattern. And then we go to a C chord and we're going to pluck that for 8 picking patterns as well. But for the C chord, our bass note is the 5th string and then we're plucking the 2nd and 3rd strings. So those first 3 chords sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a tip with the E minor, it's easiest to play the E minor with your index and middle finger because the transition from the G chord will be really simple. You'll just anchor your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and that way you'll only have to move your middle finger to change between the 2 chords. Then we're going to repeat those 3 chord shapes again, but we're going to add an extra chord on the end. And that extra chord is just a D. Now the bass note will be the open 4th string for this D chord, and we'll be plucking the 1st and 2nd strings with our middle and ring finger. So the last 4 chords of this verse will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving on to the pre-chorus, we start with an A minor chord here. And we're going to play this A minor for 4 picking patterns. For our picking patterns, we'll be plucking the open 5th string and then the 2nd and 3rd strings. So 4 picking patterns for the A minor, and then we're going to go to the D chord and we're going to pluck this for 4 picking patterns. So the bass note will be the open 4th string and then we're plucking the 1st and 2nd strings. Those first 2 chords will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For our next 3 chord shapes, we're going to start with the G, but remember, don't push down with your pinky and ring finger for this G chord shape. We're going to pluck this for 2 picking patterns, and then we're going to go to an altered D/F sharp. Now if you're just strumming along with the chords, then you should play a full D/F sharp, but if you're finger picking this, all you need to do is take your index finger and place it on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. You'll be playing this for 2 picking patterns, hitting the bass note on the 6th string and then plucking the 2nd and 3rd strings that are open for 2 picking patterns. And then we finish on an E minor and you're going to pluck this for 4 picking patterns. So for those 3 chord shapes, it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, repeat those 5 chords over again, and then after that we go to a C chord, and you're going to pluck this for 8 picking patterns. So the bass note will be the 5th string, and you'll be plucking the 2nd and 3rd strings. So altogether the pre-chorus will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we get to our first chorus, and for our first 3 chords, this is what we have. We have E minor, and you're going to pluck this for 8 picking patterns. So open 6th string for the bass note, and 2nd and 3rd strings for your picking pattern. Then we're going to go to a C chord shape, but for the C chord shape, you're not going to push down that 1st fret on the 2nd string with your index finger. You're going to lift that up, and your picking pattern will be the 5th string bass note, and you'll be plucking the open 2nd and 3rd strings together. You're going to pluck that for 8 picking patterns, and then we're going to go to our altered G chord and pluck that for 8 picking patterns. Our next 4 chords are much shorter in length. We start with an E minor here. We're going to play this for 2 picking patterns, so open 6th string for the bass note. And then you're going to go to a D chord and play that for 2 picking patterns. Remember the bass note is on the 4th string, and you're plucking the 1st and 2nd strings as your high notes. So that for 2 picking patterns. Then we go to a G for 2 picking patterns. And then we go to our C chord. And this is a full C chord. You're going to push down that 1st fret of the 2nd string. And we're going to pluck this for 4 picking patterns. After all that, we have a small little tag section at the end. And in terms of picking patterns, it's going to be a tiny bit different to what we have previously, but it's very simple to learn in any case. So we essentially have 3 picking patterns here. The first one is just E minor with the open 6th string, 2nd and 3rd strings. Our second picking pattern is essentially a D, except our bass note's going to be the open 6th string, and you're going to pluck the 1st and 2nd strings. And then our third picking pattern is the open 4th string, and then we're plucking the 2nd and 3rd strings. So altogether, it'll sound like this. And one more time. After that, we end on the G chord, and we pluck this for 8 picking patterns. So altogether, the first chorus will sound like this. That's it for the first chorus. Now for the second verse, it's shorter than the first verse. So we just have 4 chord shapes that are played for 8 picking patterns. The chord shapes are G for 8 picking patterns, the E minor for 8 picking patterns, the C for 8 picking patterns, and then the D for 8 picking patterns. So the second verse will just sound like this. Second pre-chorus is the same as the first pre-chorus, and then we get to the second chorus. Now in the second chorus, everything is exactly the same as the first chorus up until that little tag section that we learnt. After our little 4 chord section, the E minor, D, G, and C, that sounds like this. We're going to play a new set of chords after this. So for our next 3 chords after that point, we have our G chord shape, and we're going to pluck this for 8 picking patterns. We then go to an E minor shape, play that for 8 picking patterns, and then we go to our C chord shape where we're not pushing down the first fret of the second string. We lift that up, and we'll play that for 8 picking patterns. And then we do our 4 chord section again where we go E minor, D, G, C. Then after that, that's when we play the small little tag section. Then we end on the G chord for another 8 picking patterns. So in total, the second chorus will sound like this. So after that we get to our bridge, and the bridge is really short and simple. We start with our E minor chord shape. We play this for 4 picking patterns, and then we go to a D slash F sharp. But for this altered D slash F sharp shape, you're going to take your index finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, and your middle finger will just go on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. We're going to pluck the 6th string and then pluck the 2nd and 3rd strings for this pattern. And we're going to play that picking pattern 4 times. We then go to a G chord shape and play that for 4 picking patterns. And then we go to our altered C chord shape where we have our index finger lifted, and we play that for 8 picking patterns. So in total, the bridge will sound like this. Then we get to our last and final 3rd chorus. And the 3rd chorus is exactly the same as the 2nd chorus, except we just repeat the last 3 little sections of our chorus. And then we just end on a nice G chord, strumming it like that, and ending on the 2nd string. You're not going to play the 1st string. So you just strum down and end on that 2nd string. So now I'm going to play the entire song. I'm going to have a vocal track on top for some context, so you know where you are. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Funny how things never change in this old town. So far
So be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. If you've liked this video and you enjoyed it and you want to see more, again, it would help so much if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leave your thoughts, comments, questions below, and I'll see you next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers, guys.
Just fine before I met you. Drink too much and that's an issue. Okay. Tell your friends it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them.